All right, so your dashboard just lit up with that lovely check engine light and the code scanner spat out P059F. Well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to dive in and figure out precisely what your car is trying to tell you, and trust me, it's probably not as bad as you think. Okay, so you've got this cryptic code, P059F. I know, it's one of those that doesn't immediately scream, "This is what's wrong." But don't you worry. It is way less intimidating than it sounds, and today we're going to break it down piece by piece.
So at its heart, the P059F code means your car's main computer, what we call the Powertrain Control Module, or PCM, has found a problem with the active grille shutter system. Basically, the computer told the shutters to open or close, and it didn't get the signal back that the job was done. It's like it sent a text and got left on red.
Now, what on earth is this system? Well, if you look at the front of a lot of modern cars, right behind the main grille, you'll see something that looks a lot like a set of horizontal blinds. Yep, those are your active grille shutters. They're just a set of motorized fins made to control the airflow into your engine bay.
You're probably thinking, okay, but why? Why does my car need blinds in the grille? It might seem a little over-engineered, but they actually serve two really clever and very important jobs. See, this system has a dual personality, and it's pretty brilliant. First, when you start your car and the engine's cold, those shutters stay closed. This blocks the cold air from rushing in, which helps your engine warm up to its happy place, its ideal temperature, way faster. Then, when you're cruising down the highway, they close again. This time it's to push air around the car instead of through it, which cuts down on drag and actually improves your fuel economy. Pretty smart, right?
Okay, so now we know what the system does, let's get into the detective work. Why did it fail and trigger that P059F code? We're going to start with the number one most common reason this happens, and you know what? It's probably a lot simpler than you're imagining. Believe it or not, the most common culprit is just something getting stuck in there. That's it. The whole system is designed to move back and forth nice and easy, so any little thing that physically jams up those fins will stop the motor from doing its job, and boom, that immediately triggers the code. So what are we talking about here? What are the usual suspects? Well, it can be anything from a buildup of leaves to snow or ice packed in from a storm, or even just thick mud and road grime. It could also be a little bit of physical damage, maybe from a bump in a parking lot or some debris on the highway that bent one of those plastic fins just enough to jam the whole mechanism.
Of course, it's not always just a stray leaf. The problem could be something electrical. The little motor, the actuator that moves the fins, can just wear out and fail. The wiring harness, it's right at the front of the car taking a beating from the weather, so it can get damaged. It could even be a simple blown fuse that cut the power. And in some really rare cases, it might be a software glitch in the car's computer.
All right, with all those potential causes in mind, how do you actually figure out what's wrong with your car? Let's walk through a super simple step-by-step process you can start yourself right in your driveway.
The most important thing here is to start simple. So, step one, a good old-fashioned visual inspection. Get a flashlight, get down there, and just look for anything blocking those shutters. If everything looks clear, move on to step two. Check the fuse. Grab your owner's manual, find the fuse for the active grille shutter system, and see if it's blown. If the fuse is good, then it's time for step three, inspect the wiring. Look at the connector going to the shutter motor for any obvious damage or green, crusty corrosion. And finally, if all of that looks good, step four is where a mechanic might come in. They can use a scan tool to command the motor to move, which will tell you for sure if the motor itself has given up.
Okay, so you've done your diagnosis, and chances are you've found the culprit. Now, let's talk about the common fixes and the biggest takeaway from all of this.
For the most part, the fixes are really straightforward. If you found leaves or ice, the solution is just to, carefully clean it all out. If the fuse was blown, pop a new one in. But here's a little heads up. If that new fuse blows right away, you probably have a short circuit somewhere that needs to be hunted down. Damaged wiring can often be repaired. Now, if the actuator motor itself is bad, or the whole plastic assembly is cracked, that usually means the entire grille shutter unit gets replaced as one big piece.
So what is the bottom line here? What's the one thing you should remember? It's that more often than not, the fix for a P059F code is completely free. It costs you nothing but a few minutes of your time to clear out whatever's jamming the system. You don't always need to panic and rush to the mechanic. So the next time that check engine light comes on, before your mind jumps to the worst-case scenario, just remember those active grille shutters. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a machine as complex as a modern car, could the fix really be as simple as just removing a single leaf? Sometimes, yeah, it really is.